The rumor mill in Hollywood never truly sleeps, but even by industry standards, the lawsuit aimed at Blake Lively has catapulted gossip to dizzying new heights. Most people recognize Blake for her warm public persona and carefully curated style on red carpets, not for tangling with one of the biggest studios on the planet. Yet here we are. Marvel, a powerhouse that rarely initiates open legal battles, decided to file suit against her. An actress once seen as family to the very man who revitalized the Deadpool franchise. The entire ordeal left fans torn between disbelief and fascination, asking how such a seemingly well-loved star could end up in the crosshairs of a corporate titan. Did Blake truly threaten to leak top-secret information to shield herself from a separate professional dispute? Or has Marvel gone too far in protecting its intellectual property? Over the next few moments, we'll unravel the story from the spark that ignited it to the legal brawl that threatens to shake up a billion-dollar superhero empire. Prepare to see why this is far more than a simple Hollywood spat. Because when you mix high-stakes film franchises, a possibly overreaching corporate entity, and a star used to commanding her own narrative, you get explosive drama that nobody saw coming. From the outside, the lawsuit against Blake Lively seemed to appear out of nowhere. Marvel Studios, known for its near-impenetrable fortress of secrecy, had historically shown remarkable restraint in airing dirty laundry. At most, they might sideline an actor or quietly handle issues behind closed doors. But the official filing, which cited the misuse of proprietary materials connected to a high-profile tentpole property, signaled a very different approach. Insiders whispered that someone within Ryan Reynolds' immediate circle had released confidential tidbits about upcoming Deadpool projects, and all evidence, they said, pointed directly at Blake. This new twist was a rude awakening for fans who had long admired Blake's grace under pressure and consistent social media charm. People asked themselves how a star with such a squeaky clean reputation could end up facing a legal hurricane from her husband's biggest collaborator. Yet the more details emerged, the more plausible Marvel's claims began to sound. Allegedly, there were carefully timed leaks designed to distract from unrelated controversies swirling around Blake. The studio believed she'd harnessed Deadpool secrets, cameo reveals, storyline teases, and insider references to divert attention from a growing conflict on another film set. It was a claim that felt at once outrageous and strangely believable, especially in an era where every headline can be a weapon. Even so, the idea that Marvel would go as far as to sue the spouse of their star raised eyebrows. For a brand that values tight public unity, taking Blake to court marked a drastic measure. The question that lingered was why? Why not handle this quietly the way many studios do? Marvel apparently felt their entire intellectual property was at risk, and that alone pushed them into uncharted territory. The bizarre legal drama could easily have stayed hidden, if not for a separate controversy brewing on the set of a film directed by Justin Baldoni. Initially, it sounded like a dream collaboration. Justin, famous for heartfelt storytelling, teamed up with Blake, whose star power could elevate virtually any project. But soon, tensions seeped through the cracks. Blake allegedly took issue with Justin's multifaceted control. He was not only directing, but had also co-written the script and planned to star in the film. From an outsider's perspective, he was just wearing several hats. From Blake's point of view, his creative dominance crowded her input. A quiet friction turned into open suspicion when reports suggested Blake believed Justin was planting negative press about her. That alone might have been standard Hollywood gossip, except Justin responded by releasing pages of text messages that pointed the spotlight back on Blake. Suddenly, the image of a kind, easygoing star clashed against the portrayal of someone adept at maneuvering behind the scenes. The texts showcased references to calling in favors and mobilizing an inner circle. Whether she named Ryan specifically or merely hinted at having access to Marvel-level resources, the subtext felt clear. She was prepared to leverage significant industry influence to get her way. Viewers and fans who had initially sided with Blake took a step back, wondering if perhaps she was not the underdog victim but the one pulling strings. But that wasn't the whole story. Even as the feud between Blake and Justin simmered, an unsettling rumor began to circulate that Marvel's clandestine Deadpool materials were being used as bargaining chips. There had long been stories about how protective Marvel was when it came to its IP. Scripts were known to be coded, and actors were often handed only partial scenes to reduce leaks. Ryan, though, was famously plugged into the entire process. He practically willed Deadpool into existence, nurturing the idea from concept to box office phenomenon. Because of this, Ryan, and by extension his wife, had deeper knowledge of Marvel's future plans than most. If Blake sought a way to overshadow negative headlines about her dispute with Justin, floating a juicy Deadpool 3 cameo rumor, or a potentially game-changing storyline could do the trick. Fans always jump at any fresh angle on their favorite anti-hero, and tabloids would run those tidbits instantly. Suddenly, the narrative shifts. Instead of talking about Blake's alleged demands or the friction on set, the media would be abuzz with speculation about which Avenger might be crossing over into the wisecracking mercenaries universe. What was once just an industry whisper transformed into actual allegations when a handful of smaller entertainment blogs reported receiving exclusive tips from sources close to Blake. The timing was uncanny. Every time rumors about friction with Justin flared up, new, tantalizing details about the next Deadpool installment would surface. That pattern was hard to ignore, and it didn't take long for Marvel to step in. Suddenly, the notion of a carefully orchestrated leak felt less like rumor and more like a serious breach of trust. For Marvel, confidentiality is sacred. They had endured massive headaches in the past, from early set photos leaking to entire scripts popping up online. But never before had they laid down a lawsuit quite this direct against someone so intimately tied to one of their key stars. Some observers speculated that Marvel would handle the matter quietly, perhaps meeting with Blake and Ryan to iron it out behind closed doors. Instead, the studio stunned everyone by filing official court documents. The complaint suggested not only a breach of non-disclosure agreements, but also potential harm to Marvel's future box office revenue if certain plot twists were spoiled. The moment the lawsuit hit public knowledge, the broader industry gasped. Was Marvel overreacting, or did they truly have ironclad evidence linking Blake to deliberate leaks? Publicly, Blake's representatives dismissed the entire notion, calling it unfounded and vindictive. Yet that denial clashed with an undercurrent of mounting allegations, including text messages suggesting a willingness to stir the pot. Marvel, for its part, didn't share those receipts right away, leaving fans torn between trusting a beloved actress and trusting a studio known for jealously guarding its secrets. Marvel's top brass insisted they had no vendetta but simply couldn't risk letting sensitive information slip through the cracks, especially if it was being manipulated for personal gain. And what happened next would shake everyone. Caught in the middle is Ryan Reynolds, the man who almost single-handedly turned Deadpool into a blockbuster juggernaut. While the entire Hollywood community braced for his reaction, Ryan went uncharacteristically quiet. This, after all, was the same guy whose snarky social media presence and banter with fans had become part of the franchise's charm. His silence spoke volumes. Marvel needed him, and he needed Marvel. But his loyalty to Blake could not be questioned either. For fans who adore this power couple, the tension was palpable. If he defended Marvel, would he undercut Blake's credibility? If he stood by Blake, would he fracture the trust he'd carefully built with the studio? As days turned into weeks, Ryan issued a brief statement acknowledging his respect for Marvel, saying he hoped everything would be resolved amicably. The statement notably avoided any assertion that Blake was in the right or that she'd been wrongfully accused. It was a neutral position that left both supporters and critics hungry for clarity. Did he believe his wife was innocent? Or was he quietly navigating a scenario where her alleged leaks could jeopardize their family's relationship with one of the most influential players in modern cinema? Some speculated that behind the scenes, Ryan was fiercely negotiating to keep Deadpool's future afloat, possibly recommending a settlement or some other arrangement that would prevent any more public fallout. Meanwhile, tabloids speculated about growing tension at home, painting a picture of sleepless nights and hushed arguments about next steps. But the drama didn't stop there. Almost instantly, the tabloids and fan forums lit up with every conceivable theory. Some insisted Blake was being scapegoated by a paranoid studio, arguing that leaks could easily have originated from other corners. Others pointed to the suspiciously timed cameo rumors as proof that she or someone close to her was pulling the strings. Her legal team held firm in maintaining her innocence, suggesting Marvel was simply flexing its massive influence. At the same time, the hush-hush nature of the filed complaint left room for speculation. Did Marvel have direct messages, emails, or phone logs linking her to these Deadpool secrets? A few fans even hypothesized that, in some twisted way, Justin Baldoni's entire involvement might have been overstated. Maybe his text messages were misread or quoted out of context. Yet even Justin admitted that the blowback from Marvel's allegations took him by surprise. His set was supposed to be a heartfelt drama, not the breeding ground for a lawsuit that threatened to upend an entire corner of the superhero universe. Industry insiders also started to worry about what would happen if depositions began. Would Ryan and Blake's private communications become public? Could the comedic anti-hero who broke the fourth wall ironically get caught in the glare of real-life legal depositions? The anticipation of potential revelations had everyone on edge. Still, the story wasn't finished. With lawsuits, the typical Hollywood pattern is to settle quietly. Nobody wants the drama of a public trial, especially a media behemoth like Marvel. Yet the firm stance Marvel has taken suggests they're willing to pursue this to the end if it means safeguarding their intellectual property. If it goes that far, the fallout might be enormous. Depositions would force Blake to hand over communications, and Ryan's phone records could become fair game. Any evidence that even hints at a coordinated leak could devastate her career, and in turn, put Ryan's relationship with Marvel on shaky ground. Yet, on the flip side, if Marvel can't substantiate these accusations, they risk tarnishing their own brand. Fans love the studio for its epic storytelling, not for dragging a popular star through a legal swamp. And let's not forget the personal toll. Blake and Ryan were one of Hollywood's most admired couples, known for playful public interactions rather than behind-the-scenes intrigue. Rumors are swirling that if the evidence doesn't hold up, they might countersue, claiming defamation or emotional damages. Others suggest a more diplomatic resolution is in the works, maybe a private apology, a donation to charity, or an agreement that Blake will never reference any Marvel secrets even casually. Whatever the ultimate route, one thing's certain: the entire industry is watching closely, aware that the outcome could redraw the lines between individual creative freedom and a studio's tight-fisted control over its biggest franchises. What began as a routine project for Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has escalated into one of the most talked-about entertainment controversies of the year, if not the decade. Marvel's lawsuit against Blake is more than just legal paperwork. It's a battle over control, brand reputation, and the power of leaks in a news cycle hungry for the next big scoop. Whether you stand with Blake and believe she's been unfairly targeted, or side with Marvel's claim that their top-secret material was weaponized, the tension reminds us how quickly fortunes can shift in show business. One moment, you're the celebrated partner of a beloved hero. The next, you're trying to fend off accusations that you've exploited the very franchise that helped make your family a cultural staple. Moving forward, Hollywood's biggest question is whether any relationship, personal or professional, can survive a collision with a studio as protective as Marvel. The brand might strive to keep Ryan Reynolds in the fold for more irreverent fourth-wall-smashing adventures, but is that feasible when a lawsuit targets his wife? Alternatively, a quiet settlement might patch things up without any official admissions of guilt, leaving fans perpetually curious about what really happened behind those locked doors. Either way, the swirl of accusations has set a precedent, cautioning insiders to watch their every word and text message. Because in an era this connected, a single leak can mean war. And when that war is waged by Marvel, even Hollywood royalty might not stand a chance.